Are you ready for some scary stuff? I am. Except that I'm not gonna be that scared because I know I'm a big brave cat and I got God with me, so you cannot do the scare. You can make noises at me though, and I'd prefer it if you didn't. But hey, we're gonna continue. So this will be one of the first videos on the new channel. Isn't that wonderful? And if you are new here, you know, like, subscribe, all that nonsense, whatever. Look, it's Jesus. Jesus is really cool. Did you guys know that? I mean, I personally think that. And you know, lately I've been doing this thing where I like go back and forth between like the Bhagavad Gita and like the Ashtakaka Gita and the Bible and, you know, various texts. I've been reading a lot about Meister Eckhart, but you know, I'm really into Meister Eckhart, so who would have thunk it? But you know, I was reading through, and I have, what I do each week is I print out notes and I print out things that I find interesting, and I put them into this big binder here. I like, it's a weird shifty maze, and I print them out, and then sometimes I reread or re-go through them because sometimes there's like really good things in here. And I went back through, and there was this one that I personally really liked. This is from Psalm 96. But we're going to be talking about God today because, you know, that's just my thing. It's Psalm 96, verses 1 through 3. It says, "Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord, praise his name. Proclaim his salvation day after day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous deeds among all the peoples." And then below that, I had 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 7, which is, "Cast all your anxieties on him because he cares for you." And then there's also Proverbs 29:25. "Fear of men will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." And you know, these are all from, you know, the Bible, but then there's also things like Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 verse 22. "There are those who always think of me and engage in exclusive devotion to me. To them whose minds are always absorbed in me, I provide what they lack and preserve what they already possess." In some translations, it's like, "I carry these things for my servants." And I think it's really cool and really interesting, you know, like, you know, no matter like what difficulties you have, you can always rely on the Lord. And I always come back to that. That's the thing I really like coming back to, because, you know, like, we all have our little silly, oh, hey, what's this? It's a brain in a jar. Is it gonna come alive and chase me? Maybe. That was me setting up an explosive. Don't worry. But yeah, you know, like, no matter what difficulties you have, you can always come back to the Lord. And you know, like, one of the really nice things about King David, you know, is like, huh, does it remind you guys of Zelda? It sure reminds me of Zelda. Maybe it's supposed to. I mean, now we're getting like a Majora's Mask type thing. One day, a strange merchant came to town. He sold. I don't care. Handmade puppets. Oh, key. Do you think I'm gonna get like a monster chasing after me or something? Hello. Did I pick up these keys for a reason? Years later, the children of the town began to go missing. Remember, if your child goes missing, you should still praise and love the Lord. Never know what happens. It really does help, though. Like, the Lord is always there for you and is always willing to help you out. Hey, it's spooky. So here's the question. Oh, he didn't move. He's a little sharp thing in his hand. Hi, would you like to talk about Jesus Christ? He didn't say no. Hey. Oh, bye. Although, you know, you should be polite, and if you start talking to somebody about God and they're like, "Hey, I'm not interested," you shouldn't, like, try to force yourself on them, you know, that kind of thing. You know, like, the Lord is always... I want to see, I heard... I'm not sure what this monster's deal is. See, at first when I saw him, I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those ones where, like, if you, So you do teleport. Okay. Ooh, spooky. But you know, like, you can always throw your anxieties on the Lord, and the Lord is always willing to come out and help you out, you know? And that's one of the really nice things about it. Like, you're in a bad position, sometimes you just gotta call it to the Lord. Oh, that's right, I was talking about King David before I got distracted, sorry. Like, one of the nice things about King David is, hey, he just came in the room, that's not fair. Is that a sign that he's gonna, like, spawn? I don't really understand how this guy works. Like, it kind of seems like if I can see him... Oh, hello. It kind of seems like if I can see him, he can't do anything, maybe? I don't know. Maybe not exactly that. Uh-oh. But, like King David, even though he did all that bad stuff, he was always trying to go back to the Lord and, you know, beg for forgiveness and be like, God, I'm weak, please forgive me, help me, you know, stuff like that, which is always very nice. Of course, it's much better if you don't do the negative things in the first place, but hey, we're all mortal, we all have issues and desires and things like that, and we all have moments where we're not, you know, at our strongest, and sometimes we do things we're not supposed to. But, you know, just because you do, like, one little thing that's bad, or, you know, one sin, whatever you want to call it, doesn't mean that the God's going to give up on you and that you can't, you know, find redemption and forgiveness, you know? You should remember that, and that, you know, you can always come back. Even if you've done a lot of terrible things, there's always the chance that you can come back around and, you know, find forgiveness and move on. You know, like Angulimala. Angulimala, you know, cutting people's fingers off, making a necklace out of them. Meets the Buddha. The Buddha basically changes the guy, but then the guy has to earn forgiveness back. All that good stuff. We do frequently have these things where, like, you know, people will, like, give up on things if they've made, like, one mistake in the past. They'll be like, oh no, I can't possibly go back to this, I messed up. It's like I've met people, and I've heard this story from other people as well, where, like, they'll do some meditation, but then, like, you know, they end up missing it for a couple of days, or they end up missing it for longer than a couple of days, or sometimes even just one day, and they'll be like, well, I broke the pattern, now I can't go back to it because I failed. It's like, that's not really how that works, bud. Yes, you should keep up a good meditation practice, and you should keep up a good amount of prayer, and always be... Yeah, this is weird. Joe, can I not? Okay. Guess that says the black void. But, you know, you can always come back to your different practice. Oh, that's cool. It wasn't that long. But you can always come back to your... Ooh. I do kind of like that pattern, but it's kind of weird because it looks like it's not like... It looks like it's kind of centered weird. I don't know. No, hey. Hello. Just a comfy chair? I'm not allowed to touch the comfy chair. But, you can always come back to the Lord no matter what's going on. You can always find peace and refuge in the Lord, you know. Take refuge in, you know, Ma, the Divine Mother, whenever you can. Go to her and sit at her feet and ask her to comfort you. And it's like one of these like really strong practices is to remember that, like, you know, all things through the grace of the Lord, rather than like through the grace of the Divine Mother, rather than, you know, like your own doing per se. There's this one quote from Ramakrishna that I always like, which is, "The breeze of grace is always blowing. Set your sail to catch the breeze." You know, I think it's a really good thing. You should, like, open up your sail and try to catch the breeze of grace and try to catch, you know, because God is always willing to forgive. Just like Meister Eckhart says, you know, God is always more willing to give than we are to receive. So we have to be as willing to receive the gifts of God as God is to give those gifts out. And those gifts are, you know, always coming and things like that. And it's really nice. I really find that like resting in the Lord and like really like trying to put your whole heart into the Lord. Ooh, a tree stump. Phew. It is really good. And you know, like I have found over the years that like, for instance, I like my Warhammer stuff a lot. So I need to keep writing as I must do everything. Okay, that's not usually like the thing. Okay, so like leaving notes around the place is not actually usually a thing that okay, so okay, so it's forward, right. Okay, so forward, right. Let's try right again. Okay. Forward, right, forward again, okay. Cool, we did it. Don't you feel like a big brain? Big brain smart. Oh, that's the, those things are so cute. I think that's the goo monster. I want to see if I could see him spawn. Oh, or is this the... Oh, it's Silent Hill one. Quick bones. But yeah, you can always... I'm not actually sure if I even really need to run from this one. Okay, so it should be... Oh, looks like I can't even make a turn, so it's just... Man. My stamina is terrible. Can that thing, like, walk across darkness? Oh. Yeah, it kind of looks like the, thing got a little broken here. But that's okay. How do you feel about Jesus? Like Jesus? I'm sure we can catch the grace together with our big sails. Wait, is that? Oh yeah, I need to go this way. But you know, you can always open up. You can always rely on the Lord and always come back to God. You know, I really like sometimes to imagine myself as a little cat in Ma Kali's lap, getting a nice pet. And it's always very relaxing and cool. You know, like visualization is a really good practice. This is one of the really nice things, because if you go with if you read like the Bhagavad Gita, like chapter 12, basically Sri Krishna like lists out like all the different ways you can do bhakti yoga, all these tons of different ways. Like, you know, put your faith in, like, make sure you put your faith into Sri Krishna, and make sure that you're like trying to focus your mind. Like, you can do the focus on the formless absolute, but it's easier to focus your mind on an image of God, and that's probably the reason why God, through her infinite mercy, gives us all these different forms that we can look at and things like that. Like, you might not, like, depending on the tradition you come from. Oh wait, that was like the first time I actually genuinely a little confused by that. Ooh, fiery and weird. But you know, like, specifically in like Sanatana Dharma, there's the idea that all these various different, ooh, this is very fancy, that all these different forms of God are ways that the Lord like allows people to like keep her in mind and things like that. Like, there is of course the ultimate truth, which is like Brahman or Shiva, depending on what exactly you want to name it, which is like, you know, beyond all appearances and beyond all forms, and like all these, it's not an object on which you can truly focus, but it's like this realization that you can come to. But because that can be very difficult, the Lord also lets us see and focus on things like, you know, like my favorite image of God, for instance, is Ma Kali. Ma Kali is like my Ishta, and I always go back to her, and it's really easy to focus on her. And you know, sometimes I meditate on the formless, and I just sit there and do like meditations, watching the breaths and things like that. But I do find that, you know, like my bhakti really improved a lot once I started like actually, you know, using cutie. Once I started using images, and you know, it's also easy because you can remember that the Lord is in everyone, and you know, it's just like Ramakrishna said, you know, like he sees the Divine Mother in like the saint and the sinner, the thief and the beggar and the priest. They all still have the same essence of the Divine Mother in them, you know, and all these things. Okay, so let's do. Okay, so it's left, left, right, forward. Ooh, straight forward. Nice. Nice. Thanks, God. But, you know, you can do all these different things, and you know, it's just like Ramakrishna says. I actually have a good quote for this too. Ramakrishna says here in this other set of notes, all our religions are true. God can be reached by different religions. Many rivers flow by many ways, but they fall into the sea. They're all one. Like, we can all, you know, have these various different ways of approaching the Lord, but the truth is that she is willing to reach out to any of us. And of course, I keep saying she because, you know, I like my feminine images of God and things like that, like Kali. Hey, hey! You're not the protagonist. I'm sorry. Yay, we did it! We got through another 100 low floor layers. Wait, let's see something here. There we go. Okay. I think that is a good place to stop for now. I'd like to thank you all for stopping by, and hopefully you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I hope that you know that I love you and God loves you. And remember to always return to the Lord, and remember that God loves everybody, whether they're atheist, whether they're a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, whether they believe in God or not. You know, God loves everybody, including those people who are gay, trans, bi, straight, what the heck ever. God loves everybody. Even, you know, like the silly little flies that fly around and the crazy horses and everybody. Everybody's loved by the Lord, okay? Okay, well, I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I hope that you know that I love you and God loves you, and bye-bye, I love you, bye, bye-bye. Love you, bye.